Hi and welcome to Take Time to Create. Today we're going to make this Christmas tree mixed media canvas for Christmas. We are starting with a blank white canvas and it is an 11 by 14 canvas. So any size will do, just size up accordingly. And since it's mixed media, it's completely up to you. So alter the project as needed. First thing we're going to do is break the background. Now, whenever I start a mixed media canvas, I like to put book pages, or in this case, I'm using this old piano book and I am going to put music down as my background. So this is a Christmas book and I'm just going to find some really great little songs and cover the background. So I found a few sheets of music that I really like, and I'm just going to cut, you can rip, you can do whatever you want, and I'm just kind of making squares, and I'm just going like this. Now I found the music at Who Gives a Scrap, and I really like it. You can find music sheets almost anywhere. Some people don't like it when you cut up books and music sheets, and that's okay too. It's completely a personal preference. I don't mind cutting up, especially music. I don't mind cutting up old books, especially if they're not worth anything. And that's just because I read everything on my Kindle. Honest, I have almost 11,000 books on my Kindle. I don't use paper books, but if I did, I might have a different opinion. Now, if you don't want to cut up a book, fine by me. You can find pre-printed scrapbook paper that's already looks like this, or you can go online and print up sheets that look like this. So you don't have to destroy an old one if you aren't comfortable with it. But I like to recycle, I like to repurpose, I like to reuse, so it's perfect for me. Said you can rip it. It adds a different texture, and I like that too. Most of this will get covered up, so don't go to too much work that you don't have time to do other things, but you want to do it well enough that it looks good. So just kind of lay things out, and you want to have various sizes and various shapes all over, because then that makes the best looking collage. And I'll put some big ones. I overlap as well because that makes it look really good. Overlap, and you want to make sure everything is right side up and facing the right way because it looks a little weird if you don't. So that's a good guess on how it's going to look. So what I'm going to do now is I have some Mod Podge in a cup here with a brush, and I'm just going to brush it on. You don't need a ton, but you need enough to seal it, and I'm just going to scoot things out of the way. When I put the Mod Podge on, I like to put a smooth layer, and then I place the sheet, the music, the paper over the top of it, and then I'm just going to brush over it, and I'm kind of pressing down on my brush to smooth it out. You don't want to oversaturate the paper, but you want enough on there that it will stick. And I don't dip straight into the bottle just because I might contaminate the full bottle, but you can if you want. You will get bubbles. That's the way Mod Podge works, but that's okay. And I will get this done, and I will see you guys when it's all done and dried. All right, so now this is all dry. It has the clear gesso on it, and it's all dry and it's primed, and now it's ready for any medium that I want to put on there. What I'm going to do is put some heavy white gesso from Art Basics. This is a Finnabar product. Love it. It's a nice thick white gesso, and what I love about it is that it will help once again prime the surface, but I don't want it so stark and clean, so I'm just going to put some white gesso on, just smearing it around. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it previously, but you can speed up drawing in between layers with a heat tool. You just want to be very careful that you aren't overheating things and creating bubbles. Sometimes I let things air dry, other times a heat tool, and that is fine. All right, so that looks pretty great. Let me tip it so you can see the white. But I didn't cover everything. You can definitely see the music sheets coming through. Now what I'm going to do is take this Dinah Weekly stencils from Ranger, and I'm going to add some detail in the background, and I'm just going to do this in white. Pretty excited. I haven't used this stencil yet, so it's a beautiful stencil. I am so excited. Like I said, I'm just going to do it in white. This is a Liquitex matte super heavy gel, and it is matte because I don't want things really shiny right now. I know that these gels will also come in matte, and it comes in glossy as well. And I just took a scoop on a plastic palette knife, and I'm just going to stencil in. Oh, I love this stencil. Oh, that looks great. Oh, I like it. Look at that. Oh, that's really pretty. I like that stencil a lot. Ah, this is a teachable moment. I love these. So I accidentally got too much. It bursted out of the stencil there. So I'm just going to take my finger and wipe it up. And there we go. No one's the wiser. Especially when I put paint on top. Now on the edge here, some of it came off the edge. You can leave it if you want some texture. But I'm just going to wipe that up and make it clean. And there we go. I have the background done with the stencils and white gesso, and now things need to dry because then I will start adding wet mediums on top of this. So I will be back when this is dry. All right, so my canvas is now all dry, and let me see if I can tip it up for you so you can see. It's hard to see with the lights, but we have texture here. I added down here some of this glass beads from Liquitex. I love this stuff. It has a wonderful texture, and I'm putting trees down here so it will look like snow when we're all done painting. And you can faintly see the stencil. It's much better in person, but when we put paint on, you'll be able to see that. So the next step is we are going to paint the background. But before we do that, we need to pick the trees that we're going to do. And I have all of these choices of greenish scrapbook paper, and that's what our trees will look like. I'm just picking 3 papers because I want to keep my papers to a minimum. That way I can add more papers. So with that, then I'm able to pick my blues to go with it. And I have a cerulean blue, and these are Artist Lofts. I picked this up at Michael's. And I will do an ultramarine as well. And I will add a slight unbleached titanium. All right, so now I know which colors I'm going to start with. I'm not sure if that's what I'm going to end with. I'll let you know if I add more colors. I'm also going to be adding mica powders, and I have a sunny yellow, a deep water, pale silver, and a blue. And I'm going to be using these all over as well. And these are Art Ingredients. They are Finnabar's mica powders. I love these powders. Absolutely love them, and so we'll be using those around as well. So I'm just going to get to painting, and I will show you how it works. I'm going to take this first lighter blue and I'm just dry brushing it on here, just barely in random places. And when I do this, it really brings out those stencils that I did. It just makes that stencil just pop. I'm actually mixing the two dark blues and the light blues together to come up with a new blue. And I'm just swirling it on here, just letting it go all over. And you can really see, now I don't know if you can see it as well as I can. When I tip it like this, you can see that the swirls that I did, those stencils that I did before everything dried, you can see that those are starting to really show. I'm going to add titanium white, and this is actually a Reeves color. This is one of my favorite brushes. You see me use it all the time. It's the 1 inch from Finnabar. It's an Art Basics, and you know how I love this brush. And I actually dipped my brush in water first, and I am just going to grab the snow down here and make it a little more white. Dipped my brush in water, just a tiny bit of water, and I'm going to blend a little bit here on the edge. Blend this blue with the white. Oh, and this texture is so cool. It looks just like snow. So now what I'm going to do is add some mica powder, and I'm taking this is the deep water, and I have a fan brush here, and I'm just going to tap it on. All right, it's not giving me enough. I'm going to just sprinkle it on, just like this. And I'm taking some of the plain blue, which is just a really, really pretty blue. I do know I have some blue in the snow. It got kind of everywhere, and that's okay because I love this stuff. And we're just building a base, building a background for our trees and the rest of the things that are going to be going on. So I just have a water bottle here, and it says water on there. And I'm just going to spritz. I'm going to spritz all over. Then I'm going to hold it up, let it drip. Let's get some more. I need some more of this lighter blue. I stopped the dripping because it was getting too much. But I definitely want some more of this lighter blue. And I'm going to put some more of the darker blue in the center here because I do love things in threes. And sometimes you don't know how things are going to react, but sometimes you do. Okay. How I find with, okay, I'm going to tip this up. And what I find with these types of mica powders is that you need to seal your canvas when you're done. And I use a spray sealer, and that's because it's just too much if you don't. It'll come off because the mica powders, there's no binder, so it just comes off, and that's not going to work at all. So now we're going to make some trees, and not very scientific about this, but I'm just going to cut triangles. I'm just going to, I cut one way, I'm going to cut the other way, and I'm just going to make some trees, and I don't know how many I'm going to make. I'm going to make a bunch, and this is drying right now, so then I will place them on. Let me cut out some trees, and I'll be right back. I have a veritable forest now. Look at all these trees. Just easy triangles. Now, if you want, you can get your ruler out and actually measure and get your lines perfectly straight. But you know me well enough by now that I don't measure. I just go to town. So I have a Faber-Castell, and this is a gel stick. So it's not the gelato, but it is a gel stick. I love it. It works the same. And I'm just going to outline, not very neat, just to kind of give it some cool texture on all of the triangle trees. And then I'm just going to take my finger and rub it along. And I have an old brush that I am just dipping it in the water and just smoothing it around. Oh, that works much better than my finger. try out different things, and I'm just giving it a cool edge, cool texture, giving it detail to define my tree, and I am going to do this to all of my trees. So all of my tree triangles are done, and I edged every one of them with the black, and I think those are a little dark, so what I'm doing is I'm taking this white gel pen and I am now adding a little bit of white into the black to give it even more definition. So I'm really liking how the trees are looking now. And all you do is you just take it, and sometimes the gel doesn't work great over this gel stick, but that's okay. I kind of like the broken look when you draw on it. And it looks like that. So prep all your trees, and I'm not sure if I need all of these trees. I have a lot of trees, but I am just going to leave them, and then when I start assembling my mixed media canvas, I will have extra trees. And if I need to make more, they're very simple. Cut out another triangle, done and done. Now I need to prep some snowflakes for the mixed media as well. And I'm just prepping all of this while my canvas is drying. These are laser cut, and they are from Hobby Lobby, I think. I will link down below. And they are just so cute. Look at these. They're just little wood snowflakes. And what I'm going to do is just take a couple of these. I'll probably take 5 because I like things in odd numbers. I have one already done. And if I need to make more, I can. I'll just try to grab this little guy. What I'm going to do is use this Watercolor Magic. It's liquid watercolors, and I learned this trick from the Frugal Crafter. So I have a little spray bottle, and I put the liquid watercolor in here, and I diluted it with water, and I just mixed it up, and I put, I don't know, that much, and then more water. You can put more or less, and they have a ton of colors, and you can mix them, you can make your own colors, and this is just how I do my spray inks. Love this trick, and I'm very happy with it, and these go a long ways. A little bit goes a long way. Love it. So this is the silver color, and I have one already prepped, and I just sprayed it, and it looks so pretty. And of course, you can't see it very well in the monitor, but it is this pretty sprayed color, and you can see it looks a little different than without it. It just gave it a little bit of dimension. Not a lot, because I do like the wood. I like that it's a natural with the trees and the outside, so I'm just spraying it. I'm kind of soaking them. So now I have all 5 of my snowflakes, and they are in a pool of silver glitter, silver watercolor. They are swimming in their juices, and I will let those dry, and you can also heat set them if you want. But all right, on to the next thing. Now it's time to add a little bit more sparkle and a little bit more shine. I'm taking some of this Art Alchemy from Finnabar, the wax here, and this is brushed iron. This is a gorgeous color. And what we're going to do, just take it on your finger, and doesn't really matter what finger. And I am just going over spots where there is the stencil that I did. And you can see that as I tip the canvas up and it shifts, and you can see the pretty colors, and you can see that stencil just pop. And it doesn't have to be everywhere, but we're just adding a little bit of shine. I am absolutely in love with these waxes. Okay, and you can see how that looks really pretty when I'm all done. Set that aside, and you remember we have these 5 stars, and we're going to add some of that same brushed nickel onto the stars. I already did that on this one. It's really hard to see on camera, but I'm going to add a little bit more and just swirl it on there, and it looks really cool. Well, I was working a little too hard and it accidentally broke. Oh no, that's okay. I'm going to still use both pieces. I am just going to glue them together and it's just fine. There we go. I have all 5 of those, a little bit of wax, setting them aside. The last thing we need before we assemble are stems for the trees. So I have some popsicle sticks that I've cut into pieces. I'm using Bronze Age of the waxes. And what I'm doing, I'm taking a different finger and I am just covering it in wax because I want my stem to have some shine to it. I want it to have some texture. There we go. And I'm going to do that for all of my stems. So now everything is all prepped and we're ready to start assembling this. I have my glue gun heating up, but I want to paint the edges first so that's a finished canvas, and I'm just using unbleached titanium, and it just has a tiny yellow hint to it. It almost matches the original music sheets on the bottom. I just thought that would be a really good way to bring it all together. It's a neutral color. I just have a large brush here. It's a 3/4 inch brush, and I'm just going to paint along the edges. All right, so I have all 4 edges done. You might need to do 2 coats. It depends on your paint. And it just depends on how many mistakes you have and how thick your problems are and all the good stuff. All right, so now that we have the edges all the way done, now it's time to start laying our trees out. And I think I'm going to start with a large tree in the middle, and I like this one. And I have 2 similar trees on the sides. And then I will put, I like these trees just like this on the sides, like that. And then I'm going to add 2 trees on the edges. Now they're not all the same size, like this one's bigger than this one, and I like that because we don't want it too same. And do that. We want to have things going up and down. All right, so this is a good starting placement. I'm going to pull this down a little bit. I like having odd numbers, so we have 7 trees total. And then what we're going to do before we glue these down is we're going to glue on the stems, and I have a little bit that sticks out. So I am just going to glue the stems on. Actually, I think I'm going to wait because I don't know how long the stem will need to be. So I think I'm going to glue my trees on, then I will be able to glue the rest of it on. It's all about order when you do a mixed media project. You want to make sure everything is in the right order. Okay, so I'm going to take these down, straight down, and then I have these trees, and they're going to be a little bit up because the next round they're going to be down. It's all about order. And I'm just eyeballing, and I'm using hot glue to glue it on. You can use modeling paste, you can use a variety of things, but I like hot glue, and I like that it's fast and it dries fast, but I also like that it's going to give a little bit of texture because it's not going to dry perfectly flat. And that is going to be really cool on the end project. Okay, now hot glue is, well, hot, so be very careful. There we go, I found my bone folder, and I'll just press it down. I'm not gluing all the way to the bottom because I need to slip the popsicle stick in because we want to be able to go down a little bit from there. So we'll have room for that. All right, this is my third tree. And I'm going to put it down here. Oh, I'm loving this. So cute. Look at that. Okay. So now before I move on, I am going to glue down the little trunks. So now we have the first row of trees, and now it's time to set out the next row. So now I have all my trees down, and on a side note, probably should have mentioned this a lot earlier, but when you do your trees, if you have a pattern that has an right side up and an upside down, make sure it's going the correct way for your trees. Like this tree has trees on it, so I wanted to make sure the trees were all lined up. I did cut out one accidentally with upside down trees, and it looks weird, so don't do that. Save yourself some paper and make sure your trees are going the right way. And if you have a little bit hanging off like this, that's okay. I think that adds to the mixed media because mixed media has a lot going on. It does not have to be in the confines of the canvas. Since this is not going to get framed, I painted the edges. It's a finished canvas. You can hang it on the wall just like this. I am okay with some of the stems hanging out. All right, 7 little trees. Look how cute that is. All right, now we need to add the snowflakes up to the top. And remember, I have a broken one, but I'm going to add that one anyway. So now it's time to add some splashes to look like snow. I have a puddle of white paint and water mixture just off camera. Let's see here, maybe I can lift it up and show you. It's just on a plastic little sheet, the card I got in the mail, just junk. And I just have a mixture of water and white acrylic paint. And then I have it on a round brush, and I am just going to tap. If you accidentally get too big of a blob, just come in with a little paper towel and blot it a little bit, or just leave it, because snow as different sizes, different shapes. It comes down all kinds of different ways. So I think that is done. Look at that. There you go. Here is the Christmas mixed media canvas. I will have close-ups of this canvas at the end of this video. Subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and on my blog. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys next time.